This is European Railway, the video magazine for the continental enthusiast. In this issue, we spend a day around the main lines to the east of the important railway town of Rhur, including the strategic marshalling yard at St.Pierre-de-corps. We have rush hour activity at Gent, now a Belgian main line feature. The Rhur area of Germany is featured as we called in on Bottrop. A brief stopover in Vilnius as we witnessed Lithuanian railways at work. Italian main line action is featured close to the famous city of Bologna. A grand old lady is found working in the Swiss town of Footeville. Dutch multiple units are seen on our tour around Holland. And finally, we take a look at mainline and S-Bahn activity on the northern part of the Berliner Außenring, the city's main freight avoiding line. Situated beside the picturesque Loire River, Rhur is a magnet for tourists visiting this beautiful part of rural France with its historic towns and elegant and grand chateaux. We begin this section to the east of Rhur at Ambois on the northern shore of the River Loire on the main line from Orléans as an early morning commuter train arrives on the service for Rhur on the 7th of May 2003. Although a fast TGV line direct to Paris takes most of the intercity traffic away from this classic old route, there is still plenty of local passenger and freight traffic to be seen. Here BB 9271, a class dating from 1957, arrives with the 0647 departure from Rhur. The wide open and flat countryside adjacent to the river provides ample opportunities for the railway photographer visiting the area. Freight tends to be best observed in the early morning when many of the longer distance services run. Here 26199 heads east towards Orléans, close to the rural station of Noisy. closed station at Vierzon is seen here as 22225 heads west shortly after 8 am. On weekdays, the eastbound line has an afternoon maintenance shutdown between 1 pm and 3 pm, whilst the westbound track closes between 9:30 and 11:30 am. The main railway hotspot in the area is undoubtedly at St.Pierre-de-corps. Apart from the main station and locomotive depot, the principal marshalling yard for this part of western France is also located here. Freight liveried diesel 67534 trundles a rake of empty grain hoppers out of the departure sidings and prepares to head for the non-electrified main line to Vierzon. TGV and local haul passenger services are frequent. A Class BB 22200 electric arrives with a westbound intermodal. The road bridge here is very close to the village of Les Vallies and provides for some good morning and evening photographic opportunities. One of only a handful remaining in original green livery, number 9225 heads west. Diesel 72052 heads the 0842 from Tours to Lyon. On the western side of the yard, adjacent to the locomotive depot, another overbridge offers good views of the line. Here, single voltage 7329 arrives from the west with an intermodal service from the Spanish border. Rakes of freight wagons are propelled over the yard's hump facility by pairs of 63,000 locomotives. This is 63851 and 64005. Over 30 dual-voltage BB 25500 electrics are allocated to the local depot, working freight all over the central and northern part of the country. Loire passenger services are hauled by Class 26,000 electrics and connect most of the major towns located along the river down to Nantes. Introduced in 1996 and operating at 200 km per hour, there are around 4 trains per day in each direction. New electric units are making an appearance, as in this example seen heading east. In the hour we spent on this bridge mid-morning, we saw over 30 movements, which is typical for normal weekday operations. To the east of Rhur, on the main line to Vierzon, the landscape is excellent for photography. Here, 72025 heads the 0916 from Rhur near the village of Ambois on 7th of May 2003. Push-pull rakes powered by BB 67400 diesels usually operate on local passenger services. Freight services along this route are fairly light and are mainly long distance. Here, 67462 heads the 1302 departure from St.Pierre-de-corps. In a future issue of European Railway, we will study the variety of traffic to be seen to the west of Rhur. Just over 2 hours from the port of Calais lies the Flemish city of Gent. With an abundance of fine buildings, the city rivals nearby Brugge in historical architecture and has an extremely busy and varied railway running right through its heart. We visited the main station at St.Pierre on the busy evening rush hour in May 2000. As can be seen from this shot, the network of tracks is extensive with almost continuous train activity. There are a large number of peak hour trains formed of hauled stock. During 2000 these trains would be powered by a wide range of locomotive types, although they would be more likely to produce a Class 22, which are otherwise restricted to freight. This situation still prevails today. Class AM80 brake units are usually found on stopping services to and from Bruxelles. These are on a service from Bruxelles Airport to Dieppe. Most freight traffic is kept off the busy routes during the rush hour and only start to reappear from around 1800 hours onwards. Here 2718 skirts the northern side of the station and past the impressive signal box with a freight from Zeebrugge. The main passenger route through Ghent is the hourly service between Eupen and Oostende, with some services such as this starting back from Köln. Until quite recently, Class AM54P postal units were a regular feature at Ghent, but the withdrawal of mail by rail services have meant that sites such as this are no longer seen. Hauling two new Class 13 electrics is 2223, a class dating from between 1953 and 1954. Class AM96 units were diagrammed for IC Route E services between Blankenberg and Knokke Gent and Brussels to Leuven and Hasselt. This is an eastbound service for Brussels, which it is scheduled to reach in 28 minutes from here. Another mid-50s design is the Class 23 electric. This one heads west with a train of Ford Transits from Genk to Zeebrugge. Dual voltage Class 12 number 1206 is seen on a train from Saumur in France to Antwerpen Noord. The only passenger diagram left for Class 51 in 2000 was centred around Ghent. Here, 5109 arrives with train 788, the 1817 from Eeklo. These locomotives were withdrawn from service during 2003. Despite the decline of a number of classes of locomotive, Ghent still provides a wide variety of trains for the enthusiast to see, and is definitely worth a visit, perhaps as part of a weekend break to this historical city. One of the most intensive rail networks in Germany can be found in the Rhur industrial region. The sheer variety and quantity of trains and traction is outstanding. We sample some of this on a visit to Bottrop, just north of Essen. We chose the line between Gladbeck and Bottrop Bahnhof on 20th May 2003. Freight dominates this route, as in this view of a trip freight worked by 294282, seen passing through Bottrop Bois. RAG or Rhur Cola AG is a private company operating coal trains around the Rhur region. Here, an MAK diesel hydraulic of Class G1206BB heads the southbound set of empties. The company has recently acquired 6 of the new Vossloh G2000BB diesels with the unusual asymmetric cab design. This is 902, a locomotive built in 2001. Little Weserbahn also operate in the area. This is an XDR Class 202, now numbered V1204. DB trains are also extremely frequent. Here, a pair of Class 145 electrics pass through Bottrop Bois. Freight trains were operating every 6 minutes in each direction. Class 140s are still common on freight even after the introduction of more modern designs. 140829 hurries through Bottrop Bois. Passenger trains between Wuppertal and Borken also use the line. These are currently operated by Class 218 diesels. April shower time as another service heads north. Priegnitzer Eisenbahn, or PEG for short, are a new private company working stopping services on the line, having taken them over from DB. Finally, you really do not know what to expect along this line. Here we have the incredible sight of an ex-DR Class 228 diesel, number 742, seen heading towards Bottrop Bahnhof. A weekend stopover at Vilnius has allowed us to look very briefly at some of the activity around the main station. Local shunting movements were much in evidence using a variety of diesel locomotives as seen here. Later in the evening, some mainline diesel activity occurred with the departure of an overnight sleeper service. Probably one of the most diverse railway systems as far as rolling stock is concerned is the Italian state railway system. During 2002, we studied a cross-section of the main line action just to the north and southeast of Bologna. Class 656 have been long-standing performers on intercity expresses, however most have now been relegated to less demanding freight duties. Class 646 are almost identical to Class 645, but have a different gear ratio. They are used mainly on push-pull suburban workings. This is 646-200 seen on the line to Imola. On the left of this scene at Castelfranco Emilia is the new high-speed line being built from Milano to Bologna. Near Castel St. Pietro, 633221 is passed by 444005. The date is the 22nd of June 2002. New Class 464 locomotives are now very common throughout northern Italy. 464090 brings up the rear of this working near Imola. Class 803 units are common on local stopping services. This one is seen near Ozzano d'Emilia. This Class 656 is seen heading south from Bologna, hauling a short freight which includes a pair of Class 636 electrics. Freight traffic on this line towards Imola was roughly 2 or 3 each way per hour. We move briefly across the country to Arezzo now, as vintage electric 645027 approaches Ponticino on the 23rd of June 2002. Finally, our last view in this section of mainline train activity from Italy is this Class 402B electric, seen here at the popular photographic location near Figline Valdarno whilst heading a southbound freight service towards Arezzo. Situated in the central lowlands of Switzerland, Huttwil is a small country town served by a number of single-track rural railways. Like many lines, it sees regular freight traffic serving the small towns along the way. But here at Huttwil, something rather special is seen in operation. And here it is. Built in 1932, number SMB 171 is still used for working local freight trains around the area. We actually called into the station on the 13th of May 2003 at around 11:30 on a Tuesday morning. Passenger train activity is mainly comprised of 3-car electric units such as this, which arrive and depart with surprising regularity. Just after midday, a northbound freight, usually headed by an AE66 electric, calls to pick up wagons from the local yard. The wagons are placed at the back of the freight by this amazing vintage electric locomotive, now in its 71st year in traffic. Within no time at all, the main train is ready to depart and heads off towards Langenthal, leaving the station to return to its somewhat quiet and tranquil existence. Work over, the veteran locomotive returns to wait its next turn of duty, and long may its use continue. Holland is renowned for being a haven for multiple unit operation. In this section we take a look at the variety of units at work on services across the country. We begin at Lagues-Valouve, and a 2-car Plan V unit heads north towards Dordrecht. Three- and 4-car Koploper units with their unmistakable raised cabs have been in use for many years on intercity services, often working in multiple. Plan V unit number 949 leads one of the relatively few Plan T 4-car versions into Boxtel station on 29th July 1994. The Plan Ts were originally designed as intercity units and had a pantry and buffet area fitted from new. Type IRM Regio runners are some of the newest units on the Dutch system, originally running in both 3- and 4-car formations. This is a DM90 diesel unit running into Venlo station on a Rhur onto Nijmegen working. This is a unit from the Plan Y2-Y3 family, seen in April 1997. Unfortunately, these Plan MP postal units dating from 1965 have now been withdrawn since postal traffic was lost to road in late 1996. This is Unit 3014 entering Boxtel in July 1994. Finally, Plan T 4-car unit number 506 leads Plan V 2-car unit number 940 on a westbound local service seen just to the east of Breda on 12th June 2002. Built between 1950 and 1957, the Berliner Außenring was mainly constructed as a result of the separation of East and West Germany, which meant that all East German freight and passenger traffic could avoid travelling through West Berlin. Today, the line is used by large amounts of transit traffic as well as that generated by the ever-expanding capital of Germany. The town is served by services on line S26 of Berlin's S-Bahn network to and from Birkenwerder. Berlin has an astonishing appetite for fuel products, transporting in by rail around 4.5 million tonnes per year. There is a limited passenger service on the Außenring, running at hourly intervals in each direction, formed of Class 628 diesel units. Class 140 are regular performers. Here is 140613. Heavy Haul Power International operates stone trains into the city using Euro Class 66s. Here 29002 heads a westbound rake of empties at 5 to 7 in the evening. During our early evening stay, there were freights around every 10 minutes. This is 155163 heading east. Finally, 155070 is seen with a westbound mixed freight. If you want to see Class 155s, then this is surely the place to come. We would like to thank you once again for watching this edition of European Railway. Our next issue is scheduled for release in April.